Welcome to Vision Vested, where we uncover the harsh truths of relationships and the psychology behind why good men often finish last. It is a painful paradox that haunts many faithful men, wondering why their unwavering loyalty was repaid with cold and heartless betrayal. You gave everything you had, pouring your heart and soul into a connection that dissolved like sand slipping through your open fingers. We are told that if we are good, stable, and kind, we will be loved in return, but reality is different. Today we dissect the uncomfortable truth about why being a good man is simply not enough to secure a woman's loyalty. We must understand the fundamental difference between the stability you offer and the chaotic emotional spikes that some partners are addicted to. In this modern age, the constant search for validation has replaced the quiet appreciation of a partner's consistent and loyal presence. You may build a perfect life, but if her internal world is broken, your external efforts will never be enough to fix it. Let us explore the first major concept which distinguishes the feeling of love from the actual substance of a person's character. Love is an emotion that fluctuates like the weather, but character is the bedrock that remains solid even when the storm comes. Many men make the fatal mistake of believing that because she loves you today, she will possess the integrity to choose you tomorrow. Without a strong moral compass, feelings of love can easily be overridden by the sudden thrill of new attention and validation. You provided shelter from the rain, yet she found herself drawn to the artificial lights that promised excitement but delivered only emptiness. Infidelity often begins not with a physical act, but with the erosion of boundaries that a person of weak character allows to happen. The betrayal starts in the mind, fueled by a lack of self-control and an inability to resist the temptation of the moment. She may be drawn to the fire, not realizing that the warmth she seeks will eventually burn down everything you built together. You look back at the memories and wonder where the person you knew has gone, but perhaps that person never truly existed. Her internal brokenness was masked by your love, but when the mask slips, the reality of her character is finally revealed. When character is light as a feather, the weight of love cannot hold the relationship steady against the winds of temptation. She is lost in a maze of her own unresolved issues, and sadly, you cannot be the map that guides her out. Emotional discipline is a skill that many lack, and without it, every passing feeling becomes a directive that must be acted upon. You must face the cold truth that her actions are a reflection of her character, not a reflection of your worth as a man. This brings us to the second critical factor, the modern addiction to validation that plagues so many relationships in our digital world. Attention from strangers has become a potent drug, releasing dopamine hits that make the stability of a long-term partner feel boring. She craves the high of being desired by many, viewing your consistent love as a guaranteed asset that no longer excites her. This need for external validation is a bottomless pit. No amount of love you pour in will ever be enough to fill it. Stability is often mistaken for boredom by those who have not healed their trauma and require chaos to feel truly alive. You offer the peace of a constructed life, but she is addicted to the thrill of destruction and the drama it brings. She leaves the safety of the harbor you built, seeking the dangerous waves simply because the calm waters do not stimulate her. Comparison is the thief of joy, and social media creates an illusion of infinite options that makes reality seem insufficient. Instead of watering the grass where she stands, she looks over the fence, believing the illusion that the grass is greener elsewhere. Your hard work and sacrifice provide the foundation for her life, yet she may resent the time you spend maintaining that foundation. When a person is ruled by their impulses, they become a puppet to their desires, cutting the strings that bind them to loyalty. We live in an era of disconnection, where the intimacy of a shared silence is replaced by the noise of 1,000 notifications. Communication breaks down when one partner seeks validation from the world instead of finding contentment within the relationship they already have. If the relationship is built on the shifting sands of validation seeking, it will inevitably collapse when the tide of novelty recedes. Now we must address the third critical element, the dangerous misconception that being overly nice is the same as being a good man. Many men mistake passivity for virtue, believing that avoiding conflict and suppressing their nature makes them a better partner to their women. When you say yes to everything, your yes loses its value, and you become a resource to be used rather than respected. A man without boundaries is like a house with no doors. He offers no security because he cannot protect his own space. She may claim she wants a nice guy, but subconsciously she loses respect for a man who is afraid to stand his ground. In the dance of polarity, if you do not lead with confidence, she is forced to lead, which breeds resentment and frustration. Your strength is not toxic, it is necessary. A harmless man is not good, a good man is dangerous but disciplined. True kindness comes from a place of power and choice, whereas nice guy syndrome comes from a place of fear and manipulation. You must cultivate your own strength and standards, not to please her, but to maintain your own sense of honor and dignity. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are the structures that define where you end and where the world begins. When you refuse to engage in unnecessary drama, you demonstrate a level of emotional maturity that commands respect rather than demanding it. Be the oak tree, rooted deeply in your purpose. Let the winds of her moods blow past you without uprooting your stability. A woman feels safest with a man who can say no to her, because it proves he can say no to the world. This leads us to the final silent killer of relationships, the accumulation of resentment that poisons the connection over a long time. Resentment is the distance that grows in the silence of unsaid words, widening the gap until you are strangers in the same house. She may not speak her grievances, but they manifest in her actions, in the coldness of her touch and her sharp tone. Unaddressed issues are like air in a balloon. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great, and the explosion destroys everything in its wake. When the emotional connection is severed by resentment, physical intimacy becomes a chore or a weapon used to punish the partner. The betrayal is often just the tip of the iceberg. The massive block of resentment beneath the surface has existed for years. She may have rewritten the history of your relationship in her mind, painting you as the villain to justify her future actions. The affair often begins as an emotional escape, a place where she feels understood without the baggage of the resentment she holds. Ignoring the signs of resentment creates a vacuum that will eventually be filled by someone else who offers a fresh start. You cannot heal a wound by pretending it is not there. You must address the infection before it spreads to the heart. So what is the solution for the good man? It begins with the radical acceptance of reality and the rebuilding of self. Walk away from what does not serve you, build your empire, and never compromise your vision. This is Vision Vested. Signing off.